أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بركة سرين توبة سنتيالا.
Official, big dog in the yard, voted most likely to murder every birthday I start.
Peace, it's the bearded Heru, and everything is real. Let's build. Reporting live from Homeland Village in Macon, Georgia. Ramadan 2022. I'm with my brother Bilal. We about to have a short build on Ramadan. Also go check the video from last year on Ramadan. It was a whole breakdown. I think it was about 38 minutes. So go check that one out. How you doing, my brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm blessed. Any day on top of the ground is a good one, ain't it? It's the little things.
Indeed. Let's build. All right, my brother Bilal, this is Ramadan 22. And just a couple questions, just to give the viewers, something to know about Ramadan and, some customs and traditions. Like I said, they can check the video from last year. But today we're just going to do a short build. Brother, are there any expectations?
First things first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بركة سرين توبة سنتيالا. Any expectations coming out of Ramadan? Honestly, one of the first is for any bad habits that you might have had before Ramadan to still be back there before Ramadan. So if you're just now coming in second year around and there's a bad vice that you kind of holding on to, you might like to smoke some of them left-handed cigarettes like my grandma used to call them. Might still like to wait until after your last prayer and sneak your little glass of wine and start for a while. Certain things that as a Muslim or a person following that path that you shouldn't be doing that can possibly affect your health, mental wellness, clarity, spirituality should be left before Ramadan. They should be cut off. So you should really be a different person once Ramadan ends and you kind of look back on certain things you might have had with you, certain baggage, certain things you might have been worried about and focused on that got you distracted. They should still be back in the previous month. You should have left them back in Rajab or Shabbat, and then when Ramadan started, should have been started out fresh, clean slate, and slowly build yourself up. Don't add on too much. Go slow, steady, stay the pace. Allah told Muhammad in the Quran, don't make Islam difficult for the believers. So get yourself ready to go through Ramadan to add on certain things that you need to make yourself a little bit better and slowly but surely start cutting off and dropping stuff that you don't. So inshallah, by the end of Ramadan, everything that you didn't need to have with you anymore is left in all them other days that Allah done blessed you to make it past. And everything that you needed to take with you and keep on moving forward with, hopefully, you can keep moving forward with even past the month of Ramadan. This is a special lunar month for those that follow the lunar calendar. But remember now, the moon still goes through those same cycles, even outside of this month. I'm not saying, to take away from this Ramadan, you can still do the same thing every month and it's just as good as this month. This one is special. But you can still structure yourself throughout the rest of the year. Ajay Muhammad taught, man, you need to get to a point where you live in these teachings to where every day is Ramadan. You cut off certain things you don't need and you look for things that you can add on to yourself that make you a little bit better. It's more than just a outwardly practice religious observance. It's really an inner process. You can never really see what a person's going through during Ramadan until you look at who they were before it and then take a look at them after the fact. I'm pretty sure they'll be glowing a little bit brighter. Alhamdulillah.
All right, my brother, next question. All right, so you know how we get down with the lessons and the supreme mathematics. right? And I know a lot of people, maybe in the internet world or just in the world in general, didn't realize that the Nation of Islam and the Sunni Muslim, right, is essentially two different Muslims and practice two different forms of Islam. Am I correct with that? So, with it being Ramadan 22, and you going through the customs and tradition of Ramadan right now as we speak, is there two different Ramadans? Is there a Ramadan for right now in the present, or is it in another one later on a few months from now? Or is all the Muslims, or everybody that falls under the Muslim umbrella, are they celebrating Ramadan right now?
Bismillah. Point blank, no. Don't. All of them probably are not, just based on what one would look at as the Sunnah, Sharia, the Orthodox, the kind of stricter, rigid way of observing the law. So there's certain small differences. Prayer motions with the Orthodox Muslim or Nation of Islam, or the 5 on one side and the 2 on the other with the Moorish Science Temple. If we focus on these names are Allah, the Zahir and the Batin, if we focus on one and the other, we'll see they're different, and the other they're the same. The Zahir, or the outward or the manifest, of course the prayer postures look different. Sometimes the timings are different. This one is in this month and it floats throughout the course of the year, because I still don't let go of my teaching from the Nation of Islam and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I still go through my 1 meal a day process in December. All praise is due to Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's real. But that doesn't mean to discredit one or the other on the batin, or on the inside, or on the hidden, or on the esoteric, because really that same brother from the Moorish Science Temple, during their time of the year, their observance of it and their practices, the same brothers in the Nation of Islam with their time of the year, their observance and practices, Orthodox Muslims, and then Sufis, no matter what level of Islam a person is going through, if they're going through their process correctly, they are having a spiritual opening and awakening, and getting rid of things that they should not take with them to move forward, and adding on things that should make them better throughout the end of that process. So really, esoterically, there isn't but one Ramadan. Our chess teacher taught us today in class that history is a current event. Like what happened yesterday is happening today. What happened tomorrow? There is no differentiation between yesterday and today. We just couldn't see the sun for a few hours. That's literally it. There were a few hours of the night where we couldn't see the sun, and a few hours of the day where we can see the sun. No such thing as night and day on the inside. On the inside of those observances, there aren't any differences either. Just like with the prophets. Don't show any distinction between the prophets. They look at Noble Drew Ali as theirs. The Nation of Islam look at the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad. Some look at Farrakhan as theirs, but if they go through the process of whatever their teacher teaches them, if it's based on the truth that was revealed to them from Allah through their prophet, it's gonna make something happen. And at the end of the day, so they're holy month, they won't be the same person as they were when they started. Outwardly, yeah, they're different. On the inside, everybody getting purified. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My brother, before Ramadan, do you have to do anything to prepare for Ramadan? Because we know about the fasting and we know about the praying. Is it anything that you do 2 weeks or a month before Ramadan to get yourself prepared to go through Ramadan?
Yeah, indeed. Some do intermittent fasting on select days based on certain traditions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Just one quick one to throw out there. It's said in Hadith that he would fast on the so-called the lunar days of the month, which in the lunar cycle would equate to, I believe, either the 12th, 13th, and 14th, or 13th, 14th, and 15th of the lunar month, which essentially would break down and equate to about a third of that cycle esoterically. Some say there would be a Monday and a Wednesday fast, Tuesday, Thursday, depending on what school of thought and tradition, but some people will grab a hold of one of them right at the beginning of the month prior to Ramadan to work as an intermittent practice to get the body ready to start to purge everything that isn't going to make it healthy and thrive and live a little bit longer. The same way those processes do to make the person a little bit better. The process of watching what you eat, stop putting things in the body that are going to make it weak, heavy, and sluggish, purge all of that out, put good food, fruits, vegetables, holistics in there so that the body can actually use the energy in that food that got life in it. Then now it's working on the outside and the inside. So if I catch a brother from the Moorish Science Temple in our order that's putting up posts about the time of year where they do Ramadan, and he says Ramadan Kareem, if it's in January or February, or I'm going to say Ramadan Mubarak, or Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem back in December. If I got a brother from the Nation of Islam that says that online or says it to me in person, if he sees me with a kufi Ramadan Mubarak, brother, I'm going to reply back Ramadan Kareem. I'm still eating one meal a day. It's still Ramadan. Same thing with the Orthodox Muslims. So it gets deep. It's a whole lot deeper than the surface level when it comes to these so-called religions, spiritual teachings, and belief systems. They're a lot easier on the inside than they seem to look and be taught. Remember now, Allah told the Prophet Muhammad, don't make Islam difficult on the believers. Don't make it difficult. We all remember that story of him traversing through the heavens, and then Allah telling Muhammad through Moses to tell the Muslims to make 50 salat a day. And there's a bit of so-called negotiation back and forth until Musa alayhi salam comes back down and tells Muhammad, all right, Allah said y'all can make 5 prayers a day. Okay, I think my ummah can do that. I think we can make 5 prayers a day. Right there in that teaching from the Hadith. Muhammad right there, real time, if you're playing this in your mind, is literally 1400 years ago in the past, peace and blessings be upon him, making Islam easy for you back then for today. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. My brother, what is considered a successful Ramadan?
It may be a bit personal, depending on the person and the level and the stage where they're at. On the inside of the mosque, making it to all 5 daily prayers, fasting from sun up to sundown, reading Quran, doing extra dhikr and remembrance of Allah, doing good services, going to the mosque for the late night prayer, and then staying there after that prayer for the Taraweeh, or that one's powerful. 20 rakahs, 20 cycles of up, down, bowing and prostrating and back up again throughout the entirety of the Quran from the first day of the lunar month to the last. Essentially carrying out all those steps throughout the lunar month to the Orthodox may be a successful Ramadan. To my Baifal brothers, Barkay Sheikh Rafal in Senegal, that some may view as a little off or a little sideways, maybe even heretical, because they don't fast during Ramadan, nor do they make salat. That's another video. But what they do, because they still follow the rest of all of the teachings of what the Orthodox would view as Islam, because they're not fasting or not observing salat, what they do is, while all of the Muslims and Murtad that are fasting and making salat, the Baifal are back at home and at the mosque and in the kitchen preparing food for all of these people that are fasting, so that by the time they get ready to break their fast, they're being fed by someone literally from a brother or a sister order. So it's still a righteous act. It's still a act from the Sunnah and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Feed people. Some of the best things to do is to give someone the salams, greet them with peace. That person isn't a Muslim, we're really not supposed to give them a salam, but if that person is needy, in need of something, and you have a lot of that something, a lot more of that something than you need for yourself, it will be beneficial for you and that person, both for you, to share a little bit of that something with them, feed them. And inshallah, if we do these things that they say we should do throughout these months and apply the teachings properly, then at the end of it, we'll be successful, inshallah. I remember I used to do the car club thing. Riding around town stunting.
Yeah, they ride today.
It's a distraction from the illusion, I guess. They just get behind the wheel and so-called be free, but you still gotta drive the speed limit.
Last one. My brother. For somebody who is going through Ramadan for the first time, or a newly you don't like to say convert to Islam, you like to say somebody coming back to Islam. Rebirth. So rebirth or revert. Right. So what would you tell, or what advice would you give somebody who is going through Ramadan for the first time, or who is, done went through it a couple times but just need a little advice or a little motivation to get them through Ramadan?
That's a definite good one, because sometimes a lot of the practices and rites, ritual, whatever anybody wants to call what one would observe during Ramadan, might seem to be like a bit much. And then on top of that, you're supposed to eat a pretty healthy, not hefty, healthy and wholesome breakfast about an hour and a half to 2 hours before the morning prayer, which is at like 6:15 in the morning right about now. So at about 4 or 5 o'clock, I should already have breakfast in me, preparing to go throughout the rest of the day. And that's tough for somebody that live in the West. We got a different structure about our life than some of the prophets did back in the day. It was easy for them to do that, to live in the desert. They ain't have to wake up and go clock in for Geico. They ain't have to go work for YKK. They ain't have to go work for Jeff Bezos at Amazon. They didn't have to do all these seemingly mundane things. So they had time to observe all these steps in the process. So if you can't do everything, because this is going to feel like sensory overload, just kind of being honest, do not feel bad. Whatever you started off with as your intention, Allah judges you and your actions by your intention. So if you say, Allah, I'm going to fast these entire 28 and a half days as a first-year Muslim, on that 7th day, bro, it's going to get a little hard. I'm not even going to lie. So if you have to get to that 7th day and wind up stopping and break your fast early, right before you get ready to break your fast, don't let that thought be, oh man, Allah ain't going to accept my slot and my fasting and whatnot because I didn't do it the way I was supposed to. Let that thought be, oh Allah, you know my mind and my heart. Please accept my intention of fasting throughout the day as I've done, and accept this fast. Please bless this food that I'm about to receive for the nourishment of my body. That sounds familiar. That saying still works. It's an invocation. You're telling God to put a blessing on something for you in a time frame where you were doing what he told you to do and trying your best to fulfill it, and you still couldn't. You think Allah ain't gonna send a blessing down here to you, and when you tried your hardest as a first-year Muslim to go 28 and a half days, may not be able to do it. But if you can make it 7, next year set your intention to 14. And if you can make them 14 next year, set your intention to 21. And after that 21, man, if it takes you 4 years to finally be able to fast for them 28 and a half days, alhamdulillah. All praises due to Allah in every circumstance. That first year, when you couldn't do but 7 days, alhamdulillah. There was a time and frame where you couldn't fast at all. The second year, when you fasted 14 days, alhamdulillah. There was a lot more time when you couldn't even do that. So forth and so on. So don't feel bad that one step couldn't be done this year. Inshallah, just try a little bit harder next year. Pray a little bit harder. If there's something that you can't do, there's nothing wrong with doing a service to somebody. Say hey to someone. Give a nice word to them. Talk to them about God from their book, from their walk of life. Make a connection. Feed them. Inshallah. And you and that person will be blessed. Even for 7 days. Even for 14, 21, 28 and a half. Allah is going to accept that and multiply it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said do these things. And if you can't do them, or if you feel like you may not live up to these teachings, if you feel like you've fallen short, just seek the forgiveness of Allah for that step where you thought you might have fallen short, and pick back up and keep walking towards Allah. Never at a point in the journey stop walking to Allah. If it takes you a bunch of baby steps, if you're able to skip, if you're able to run, or if you're able to sprint, or if you're able to hop in a Camaro and haul tail straight to the Kaaba, then get there. Get there however you can. But just don't stop. Inshallah, of course.
Yes, indeed. It's the bearded Heru. Like I said, once again, we're reporting live from Homeland Village, Macon, Georgia. And this is Ramadan 22 with my brother Bilal. Hey, check this. Fun fact. Hip-hop. This is from a Muslim brother in Philadelphia. Freestyle King Jack Frost. Go check him out. Beard Gang Click. You see the synchronicity in that?
It's always something, right? Trim your mustache, but grow your beard, like Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him.
Indeed. Beard Gang Click. Peace to the gods. Hey, this is the bearded Heru signing off. Hey, much love, success on your journey through Ramadan this year, my brother. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Much love and light, man. I love each and every single one of y'all for the sake of Allah and Allah alone.
Peace.
I been official, big dog in the yard, voted most likely to murder every birthday I start. So